Before I begin, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakabadash, and give honors to the apostles and others great millstone. Shalom to the I keep teaching this word. Throughout the four corners in true sincerity. I'm back with another lesson. Just spend probably Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and Lord willing is edifying unto the elect of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Alright. The topic, this lesson is going to be going into, counting the cost, all right, and fully accepting, all right, what this truth, all right, really, entails of. Okay, the true name of God is Yahweh, which means He is, and the true name of His Son is Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus, but that's not His name. It's Yahweh Shai, which means He saves. All right, that's the only names given, right, to the nation of Israel, which consists of the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, to call upon, all right, to give praises to call on in times of distress, and to pray to, all right. A true chosen people, all right, not them so-called Jews that you see today, with them small hats and suits and shit. That's not the true people. True people are, consist of the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, because the curses pertain, to us. Right? When you read Deuteronomy 28, all right, those curses is an easy indication of who the true people of the Lord are. How because of our disobedience, okay, that we would get sickly, that we would go to Esau for the one of all things, that we would be the tail, and etc. All right, but with that being the intro, going back to the topic, I didn't want to stray away, but going into fully accepting what this truth is really about. All right, what is about to happen, what it entails of. All right, once you accept the word, all right, humbly, okay. Number one, all right, you need to accept that this is not gonna be an easy selling. Because when you first come, again, it's sweet. You want to tell everybody. All right, but then it gets bitter. And that's a portion of it as well. But I'm, going into, the hell that you catch. All right, when, it's like the hell that you catch when coming into this truth. All right, this thing is about, suffering. But you're not suffering, for, you're not suffering for just no reason. You're suffering, all right, for righteousness. All right, you're suffering for Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You're suffering for a purpose. All right, Scripture saying, I think it's in the gospel. It says, but patience possesses your souls. Roughly paraphrasing. All right, patience can go into, suffering. Okay, so the first lesson when you come in the truth, even in Sirach 2, it tells you, my son, thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, for trials, to go through things, right? Afflictions. And those things only increase. All right? They only increase as we get closer to that day and as we grow, through the Spirit. Right? Slakia. As we go through the Spirit. And as we get closer to that day, all right, persecution is going to arise, for the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, and this is not to scare you. All right, this is not to put fear in you, because Yahushua went through it, the disciples went through it, the former prophets went through it. Every man of the Lord went through some sort of tribulation in their time, right? All right. The majority, I should say, went through some sort of tribulation in their time, but it was for a purpose. All right, for them to prove themselves. Because how can you be proved? All right, how can a man be proved? By him suffering. What can you handle? While you're under pressure. All right, because again, this is not about lip service. We're not Jake. This is not 2/3. It's not lip service. You have to prove to the Lord, all right, that you're really about Him. And if you're able to suffer, then the Lord is okay. Then the Lord's going to know. Because when you read 2 Ezra 2nd chapter, it talks about, you know, the elect standing stiffly for the name of the Lord. How can you stand stiff? What is making you stand stiff for the name of Yahweh Shem Shai? What are you going through that's making you have to stand stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shem Shai to proclaim that name? All right, so these are questions that that you need to ask yourself and really embrace what the Lord is about to put us through. Okay, and don't just focus on all the bad, because it's really not bad at all. All right, you know, when you read in Acts the things that Peter was going through, all right, when he suffered for the name, he rejoiced. He said he rejoiced. He said he was counted worthy, you know, to suffer for the name of the Lord. So this is not a light thing. All right, and don't be no woman. Don't be complaining. Why I'm going through this, why I'm going through that. All right, because you have came into this truth, and the Lord is putting us through that fire on a daily basis to prepare us, you know, for that time, for that day, whatever the case may be. Whether, you know, brothers get brought up in front of high officials, whether they put your head in the guillotine. All right, not saying it's gonna be you, because again, all right, each brother is different, and the Lord's not gonna give you nothing that you can't handle, according to 1 Corinthians 10:13. But the mindset is to strive, you know, strive for the truth unto death. All right, to go all in. The Lord wants us all in, and that's another thing when you first come in this truth. You go all in. Okay. You forsake, you know, mother, father, sister, family. You forsake things in the world, all right, to come in this truth, because you're becoming a new person. All right. The scripture saying, I believe that's John. You know, the inward man, or is that Corinthians? Again. It says the outward man perish, but the inward man is renewed day by day. Okay, and we're likened unto, you know, gold, and gold tried in the furnace, all right, by fire, and that fire being that tribulation. All right, so in that time, in the end, we can come out as fine gold, all right, prepared, all right, for that bridegroom Yahweh Shai. Okay. So these are things that we must pray about, you know, so for the Lord to keep us, because things are about to, you know, turn up. All right, you know, Esau is going to continue to, you know, set in his draconian measures. He's going to continue to, you know, and try to, you know, slowly implement his NWO, and a part of that is, you know, coming after us, you know, because we're against this system. All right, that's another thing. You have to come out of the world, so now you're against this wicked society. So now there's eyes on you, you know, not only physically but spiritually as well, right? There's eyes on you, like it's saying, that's Isaiah. All right, when you come into the truth, or if you paraphrase, you make yourself a prey. All right, so we're being preyed upon, you know, daily, and it's going to increase. Or Esau Edom is going to come and bust down your door. All right, and take you away from your family. Okay. And take you out of, while you sleeping, you know, wherever it may happen. But we also must keep the faith, like it's saying Sirach 2. You that fear the Lord, hope for good. All right, whatever the outcome may be, you may have to put your life on the line. You may have to give your life. All right, but you're giving your life for a righteous cause. All right, you're not just dying, you know, for no reason. All right, it's for a righteous cause. Okay, because, you know, I like to say this a lot. All right, what more can you give than your life? All right, what more can you give by putting your life on the line? That's the ultimate, you know, that's basically like the ultimate thing. You know, if you're put in that position, because not every brother is going to die, of course, but we're going to have some, according to Revelation 20:4, you know, some are going to be beheaded, because we're not going to bow down to this wicked society and take that MOTB and be down for the system. But again, some brothers will die and be martyrs for the truth, and some won't. Some may get spiritual power. All right. Again, you know, going back to the Lord not gonna give you nothing you cannot handle, but that's the mindset of going all out. Because if you're not all in, when that time comes, you're going to fold. All right, you're going to fold. If you like 1 foot in the world and one foot in the truth, then this thing is not for you. You got to be all in. You can have no attachments. It's like it. cannot have no attachments here in Babylon. All right. Again, that's the first things you learn. All right. It's a precept. It just slipped my mind, but that's the first thing you have to detach. Like saying 2 Ezra 16, when after it says that we be pilgrims on the earth, it goes down and say, those that be married, as they marry not. All right. So if you have any attachments to this life, it's only going to be hard for you down the line, because what we're prepared to do is give everything. All right, whatever it may be. We just pray the Lord have mercy and keep us in that time. All right. But that long lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Al-Shah, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh. And double honors to the apostles and elder great millstone. Shalom to the high king teaching this word throughout the four corners in true sincerity. We almost out here. Keep pushing. Shalom.